today's video, I'm going to share with you the evolution of critical thinking in the form and manifestation of Joe Rogan, the most influential media personality, not just podcaster, media personality on the planet right now, with hundreds of millions of viewers each week on his show. We're going to talk about Jane Fonda. We're going to talk about Charlie Kirk. We're going to talk about free speech. I've got a big jam-packed show for you today. But first, check this out.
Society of seeing people die.
Well, the Charlie Kirk thing opened up my eyes.
Yeah.
I never expected so many people would celebrate that man's murder.
That is evil. That's
bizarre. It's just bizarre. Like normal people that I think they're good people, and they genuinely think that guy was a bad guy, and I don't think they're right, and I think they were indoctrinated. And I don't agree with everything that Charlie Kirk said or did.
I don't care if he was a bad guy or not.
He's not a bad guy.
I don't want to see him. I don't want to see anybody die.
First of all, he's your age, right?
Yeah.
30,
he's a young guy, right? And he would go around to college campuses and have arguments with people, or have discussions with people, have debates with people.
Yep.
But it infuriated people because they felt like this guy is going against the progress that was being made in society. But what he did not feel like was progress. Like it was a progressive agenda that was being pushed in most college campuses. It's a leftist, Marxist sort of agenda. He didn't feel like that was the correct way to live, and he felt like he had arguments against it, and he wanted, and it was, it's a business too, right? Like he developed this big social media platform because of it, and I don't, like I said, I don't agree. I don't think some of the things he said he should have said, but the fact that people were cheering when he died, normal people, housewives, moms, like people working at banks, people working at various industries, celebrating a man getting shot in front of his kids, in the front of the whole world.
That's
like,
evil.
What the is wrong with us?
And it's just really weird now.
It's really weird, and it's celebrated to hate people. And that's the weird part. And most of us know that that's wrong. And that's why, like, when this Charlie Kirk thing happens, there's a giant blowback. And most people recognize, like, hey, as a society, this is not right. Regardless of whoever that person is, whether that person's on the left or the right, they just got shot in front of the whole world. It's not a thing to celebrate ever. And especially when you're seeing people on the left that are supposed to be progressives. These are supposed to be the kind, compassionate, inclusive people that are celebrating gun violence, public execution. Like, that's insane. That's in a public assassination. That's insane.
I want to remind everybody really quickly. First, let me know what you thought of what Rogan said right there. This is a guy, Joe Rogan, okay, who voted for radical socialist Bernie Sanders almost 10 years ago, nearly 10 years ago in 2016. He has come all the way around, a full, complete flip, complete 180, and voted for Trump and endorsed Trump in 2024. Why? Is it because he's a radical right-wing extremist? No, it's the same reason that I voted for him 3 times. It just makes practical common sense. This may come as a shock to you. I'm not right-wing. I'm not even necessarily conservative Republican. I'm not right or left. If anything, if I had to define myself, I would say, some of you have heard me say this many, many times, I'm a constitutional centrist. But I look at policy, I look at track record, I look at what kind of impact this could have. Does the law make any practical sense? And that's how I govern my decisions when it comes to voting on propositions, on bills, on policies, on presidents, on what have you, mayors, governors, whatever it is. That's how I base my policies. And right now, the divide is so stark because we literally have a faction living in our country right now, the Radical Democrat Party, that not only celebrated Charlie Kirk's end, but now they're making Jimmy Kimmel, who lied blatantly. This guy hasn't been funny his whole career. This is a guy who dressed up in blackface. He lied blatantly, saying that the shooter, the person who murdered Charlie Kirk, was MAGA, which was a blatant lie. He just made it up out of the blue. And not only did he not get canceled, not only did he not face any consequences, but they actually made him a martyr of free speech. The hypocrisy knows no bounds. I want to play for you this other Joe Rogan clip where he talks about the insanity of media, the lack of coverage. And I'm going to talk more about that when I tell you what Jane Fonda and all her Holly weirdo cabal is up to right now. When it comes to this absolute 1984 Orwellian nightmare happening across the pond in the UK, where you can literally get arrested for posting something, liking something, sharing something, commenting on something in social media. Literally, police officers will show up at your door for what you post on social media. I think Orwell is turning over in his grave. This is one of the most, and the crazy thing is nobody's talking about it. None of the media is talking about it. None of the mainstream propagandist corporate press is talking about it. Just like they were silent when it came to Charlie Kirk, when it came to his right under the Constitution of the United States of America, the greatest country man has ever known, to exercise his civil liberties, free speech. They were silent on the attack on him. They were silent on the assassination on him. They were silent on the defiling, defamement, and mockery of his assassination. They were silent on Roseanne Barr, silent on so many other people who got canceled. Roseanne Barr got canceled over a harmless tweet. And instantaneously, hundreds of union workers were out of work, unemployed. Did Jane Fonda come to the rescue? Did anybody come out with this phony outrage? No, not one. Check out this clip right here of Rogan talking about the insanity of the UK and what I fear, especially if these hypocrites get more and more media coverage. You got Zohran Mamdani, who's literally all but got the NYC mayoral race wrapped up, who is convicted, confirmed, has confessed he is a radical social democrat, radical communist. I fear that this may happen in the US if we're not careful, if we're not weary, if we're not vigilant. Watch this.
About the UK, which has had more than 12,000 arrests for very mild social media posts.
Isn't that crazy? I mean,
I
can't believe that. I've been watching this stuff play out.
Fascinating, and the fact that our mainstream media is relatively silent on this is insane. You're seeing a complete, total attack on one of the most fundamental principles of the Western world, which is your ability to express yourself and your ability to call out that you think that the policies that are being implemented in your country are destructive. That's people have always been able to do that. These people are not calling for violence.
Yep.
They're being arrested for wild things. People are being arrested for liking posts.
Yep.
They're being some people were investigated for viewing posts. 12,000 people arrested by the police in the UK, the same place that just implemented digital ID. I mean, this is an Orwell nightmare coming to life right in front of our face, and no one's flinching. No one in America is freaking out about what's happening in the UK at all. I mean, you get people online that are kind of freaked out by it, but they're way more freaked out by nonsensical things like whether or not what Jimmy Kimmel said in his monologue was offensive.
Yeah.
They'll go to the ends of the earth to fight that.
It is alarming to the nth degree that nobody is talking about what's happening across the pond. This is a sovereign nation. This is one of the forerunners of Western thought, Western philosophy, Western civilization. This is basically our parent country. The UK, the United Kingdom, Great Britain. And what's happening in Great Britain and all over Europe right now? You have mass migration. You have multiculturalism that is absolutely overthrowing everything. Everything. I mean, again, there's nothing wrong with immigration. There's nothing wrong with immigrants. Yes, America is founded on the principle of give us your tired, your poor, your huddled masses. I understand that. I get that. My parents were immigrants. But there has to be some balance. There has to be some reason. There has to be some logic. There has to be some sense of fairness, objectivity. There has to be some sense of abiding by laws, going through the right, as Tom Homan says, a port of entry, systems and processes. You have to earn your citizenship. You can't just roll out the red carpet. There is some good news, however. So it's just shocking to me. I don't know if you guys have heard about this. Let me know what you think in the comments. A new Gallup poll, as you see on your screen right here, has shown that trust in media since 1972 on the far left, if you look at the green percentage vertical axes graph line, you'll see it's fallen way down since 1972. How much trust and confidence people have in the mass media, which is very, very good news. God bless the internet. God bless independent media like myself, independent channels and journalists like myself, as well as God bless Elon Musk for purchasing Twitter, because X right now is literally the last bastion of free speech that's left out there. And by the way, please make sure you follow me on X. I'm at Professor Nez with the blue check mark, verified. Follow me on X if you haven't already. Go check me out there. Okay, now that brings me to this. Holly Weirdo. You've got more than 500, and it's all the worst of the worst. It's the Tom Hankses, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Elaine from Seinfeld, Glenn Close, Meryl Streep, Robert De Niro, all the worst of the worst. Even this heathen billionaire, they all live in walled mansions. They all have private security. They've never worried about the prices of groceries ever. They're so out of touch, so out of depth. Now you've got all these people. What's that mook's name from Pretty Woman? Richard Gere. You've got all these Holly weirdos now banding together to revive the McCarthy era committee for the First Amendment. Here they are. Here's the hypocrites right here. The Ben Stillers, the Spike Lees, the Whoopi Goldbergs. These are people who've profited off of capitalism. They've profited off of America, and they do nothing but chide, denounce, and hate on America. This is absolute phoniness. I mean, you see what's happening with Netflix. I don't know if you guys have understood what's been happening with woke Netflix, basically pushing transgenderism on our children out in the open publicly with programs that are designed for kids, which are blatant propaganda for transgenderism and non-binary and pronouns and changing yourself when you have no idea who you are way before the age of consent and taking all sorts of puberty blockers when you have no idea what the long-term healthcare ramifications are. It's so completely nuts. We all voted against this. There was an election, everybody. Do we remember there was an election on November 5th, 2024? We all voted. There was a mandate. Resoundingly, the American people made their voices clear. But these guys don't care because they've never cared. Just like all elitists. I've worked with them. They're all the same as these narcissistic, creativeless, spineless, feckless academics that say, no. Don't believe your ears, your eyes, and your own senses and your own critical thinking. Believe what we tell you to believe. Don't believe anybody else but us. We know what's good for you. You don't know what's good for you. You voted for Donald Trump. You voted for the American First Agenda, but that's not good for you. We're going to tell you what's good for you. That's what these people are like. That's what these out of touch, out of their depth, look down their nose elitists, that's what they think of us. Check out this clip of Jane Fonda proudly gallivanting about this new McCarthy era First Amendment movement committee BS. Watch this.
No president has ever sent troops into the democratic cities across the country saying full force. No president, as far as I know, has tried to control the Federal Reserve, the central bank. He is amassing power in a way that will destroy our democracy. And so we're going to stand up. You know, we're creatives, we're storytellers. We can do it creatively. We can have a good time while we do it. But we want to push back, and we want to model what creative, nonviolent, non-cooperation looks like. That doesn't mean just showing up for people who are under attack, like Jimmy Kimmel. A lot of us signed that ACLU statement protesting what happened to Jimmy Kimmel. Mm-hmm. But we want to also we want to be proactive. Our statement is when they come for one of us, they come from all of us. We're going to stand. Oh, I thought of this last night. We're going to engage in creative, non-violent, non-cooperation. CNN.
We'll take it.
I'm good. I knew you would.
Sending in military troops into Democrat cities. We're fighting for our own. We're fighting for Jimmy Kimmel. We're sick and tired. Where is your outrage? Where is your sick and tiredness, Jane, for the thousands of Americans who've been attacked? Where's your outrage for Patty Marin, whose daughter was violently ended, raped, and murdered by criminal illegals that you and your cabal, your Holly weirdo cabal, and Obama and Clooney, all of you mooks, allowed into our country? Where's your outrage for Irina Zarutska, which they all have Ukrainian flags in their bio? But they didn't mention Irina Zarutska, a Ukrainian refugee who was brutally stabbed by that nut job who has 19 felons. Where's your outrage for Logan Federico? I just shared a video yesterday of her father giving the most powerful, heartfelt speech I couldn't imagine in a billion years as a father. Something like that happened to me. I mean, I would literally have to jump into the Grand Canyon and end my life if something like that happened to me. I couldn't even imagine. I don't have even a tenth of the strength of that father. Where was your outrage then? Where was your outrage when Roseanne Barr was canceled for a harmless tweet? Where was your outrage when President Trump was banned on social media? Where was we're signing all these amendments and we're attacking what they did to Jimmy Kimmel? Oh my God, it's outrageous. This is so unbelievably fake, phony. Where's your outrage when LA protesters, LA Antifa, Portland, they're attacking and doxing hard-working law enforcement officials who are proffered a position to protect American citizens from criminals so we can walk down the street with our family, go have a picnic, go to the store without having our head on a swivel and constantly living in fear? Where was your outrage then? Absolute garbage. All of these people. I can't wait to get your thoughts on this. You need to make this video go viral. Please tap that thumbs up if you love America. The mission here is to make common sense go viral. I can't wait to hear what you think. You know, I was just watching one of my favorite, if not probably my favorite actor of all time. I love Gregory Peck. I love Spencer Tracy, Anthony Hopkins, Gene Hackman, the late great Gene Hackman, rest in peace. He just passed. But one of my probably all time is Henry Fonda. I just watched My Darling Clementine the other night and the Oxbow incident, which is amazing. I've been getting into watching a lot of John Ford movies again. I watch Grapes of Wrath. I love Grapes of Wrath. Grapes of Wrath just makes me cry like a little boy every single time. I wish they just don't make them like they used to anymore. By the way, free poll. Who's your favorite actor from the old days? Let me know in the comments down below. But I can just imagine Henry seeing his daughter Jane. You know, they had a strained relationship. If you remember, I watched On Golden Pond again recently too. They had a strained relationship towards the end of his life in 1981-82 during the making of that movie, as a matter of fact. I would just imagine him looking at you right now, Jane, and looking down at what you're advocating for, who you're fighting for. You're so on the wrong side of history. Not fighting for regular, everyday Americans, but you're fighting for talentless hack Jimmy Kimmel. And you're fighting for Mayor Brandon Johnson, the race-baiting hustler. You're fighting for Karen Do-Nothing Bass, who's literally destroyed Los Angeles. You're fighting for all the wrong people. All you Holly weirdo, hypocrite, Democrat party of evil and murder. Oh, don't get me started. You're fighting for the wrong people. I could just imagine your dad, Henry Fonda, looking down in shame, utter shame. Okay, if I keep going, I'm going to freaking have a stroke. I love you guys. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right here, just in case you missed them. Tap my face right there to subscribe and follow. It's absolutely free. And as always, may God bless you and may God bless the USA. I'll see you soon.